Thank you so much.
It's good to be back in Chennai with yet another session of Medetalks. I'm sure that many of you would recall the previous interactions that we've had, and it's great that Chennai is such a very homely place with a lot of friends. So I'll set the premise of my talk, my presentation here. There are certain points which many of you, almost everybody would know this, that we've been looking at websites for the last 10, 15, 20, or maybe people like Lalit sir and Shali sir would have been looking at them for the last 25 years. That's one. Second thing is that if you look at industry experts in the .com industry, they will tell you that the .com availability is coming down. And in this gathering here, many of us would have one or multiple websites serving one or different purposes. Like Dr. Hulla, Dr. Lakshmanan Saravanan was telling that he's got 12 websites for the domain of infertility. Hulla sir has got around close to, and I think Pata sir also would have 2 or 3 or maybe even 3 or 4 domains serving same or multiple purposes. So the internet as such is getting crowded. And all of you know that Google in the first 10 results throws at you probably thousands of answers for the same question that you have. So there is always this fact that, and there's always this talk going on in the industry that the mobile apps of today are going to replace what we call a website. So this is the premise of the discussion, and I would move forward. So what is it that as an organization that we have done for the last 10 years is that we have refined and redefined the new media for the healthcare industry. Everything from websites, last year we have added with John sir joining hands, we have added the press and media briefings, we have added the digital marketing campaigns, especially for the medical tourism. That's one of the ways that we got started out with. So these are the things that we have done over the last 10 years. But then now at this juncture, what is the way forward? What is 2019 going to do for us? So what we added here, or what we have realized over the course of time, is that we have to give it a face. We have to give it a face, a very, very human face, a very, very layman's language, a very, very, layman's touch. The human touch and feel is what we are adding now. The main reason for this is the crowding of the internet, the crowding of the websites. So the differentiating angle becomes very important. So we will look at what are these current web properties that you see every other day. Many of them, or rather most of them, are brochure-like. They give you a set of information which is what you want to tell your consumer, which is what you want to tell your patient consumer. During the last Medetalks, I have spoken to you about how the patient consumer has evolved. So with the evolution of the patient consumer, what is happening is our web presence is giving this what we want to tell him. But again, like how Lalit sir was telling, what is the feedback? How are we managing the feedback? How are we going to make our websites two-way interaction? So now the properties that we see, they're compulsively one-sided. And in certain cases, they're right there in your face, that this is what it is. And then, of course, you look at many of the medical websites, many of the hospital websites, you find a lot of medical jargon that we use. So we're going to evolve a bit further. And what we're going to do is, we have already started doing this, we are making the features interactive. What is it? And utilitarian. When we say utilitarian, what is it that you can actually do with a website? What is it that you can actually do? So many things that you can do. And then I'm sure that most of you would have downloaded and installed mobile applications, and most of you would have switched on your new mobile phone. So it seamlessly takes you. So the website should be intuitive enough to seamlessly take you through the process of what a patient is looking at. And like I don't have to reiterate this fact, it's already been stressed by multiple speakers here. The content, whether it is in the form of videos or whether it is in the form of written text, it should give a story of hope. I'm sure that all of you would have been enthralled by the video of Laugh at Death, how powerful and captivating the content was. The same way, we're giving a lot of big deal about how the content is going to be hopeful and how it is going to touch the patient emotionally. And yes, the language, we're going to simplify it, keep it as laymanish as possible. I'll give you live examples of things that we're doing, and then keep it as engaging as possible. So these are a few of these new age works that we're doing, but before we go in depth into them, I will also take you into what are the certain utilities which many mobile apps today do. But then being a private practice provider, you can do all of this and more, or you can scale it down to your requirement. Making and managing online applications, I think there are so many applications including Practo which are available. It can be seamlessly integrated or if required we can customize one for you. We can offer, see what's happening, the patients are going digital, the consumers are moving out there, they are having the smartphone in front of you. Time and moving within the city is becoming constrained. The healthcare is getting focused in the cities. There is this rural-urban healthcare gap that we are experiencing today. So, if you offer preliminary online consultations or not, the website and the internet can be used for beautiful online video case taking. Case taking can be done as a first step. Let the patient talk to you through a video. You can enable a video on your website and even on a mobile website where he can simply record his problem and send it to you as a first step. Yes, of course, among the crowd and during the inaugural address, Dr. Lakshmanan Saravanan sir is somebody who has adopted and implemented online consultations, I would say close to 6 or 7 years back. This is the second thing that we did, second or the third thing during the journey of the last 7 or 8 years. We enabled the online consultation module, including the payment gateway integration, and that has empowered the transformation. Again, Dr. Holla is somebody, but yes, now what has happened here is they have used standard applications like Skype or Google Hangouts to empower the process, and it is more on a manual basis. A patient requests for some details, a link is sent to him, a time is sent to him, and at a specific time is given, the payment is done, and then online consultation happens. But now we can seamlessly integrate this onto your website. Now in case that you're not ready for it, at least the online case study taking can happen. Patient record taking, keeping, it's already there. There are multiple applications, but you can bring them onto your website. Now, online health tourism mobilization is one of the most practical areas where you can use your website. What we have done, we're doing content in Turkic. We have done a study, yes, like some of the previous speakers were telling that a lot of patients are coming in from, yes, like Dr. Lakshmanan Saravanan is taking, a lot of patients are coming in from Bangladesh. Bangladesh and Afghanistan is contributing to the highest number of patients. So I'm sure that most Bangladeshis really don't know how to read or write English. You have to communicate to them in Bengali. So we have started doing this multilingual communication, Arabic, Bengali, even Turkic. So, and all of this, you can have a subsection. I will display during probably a demo session which we will have later into the evening, how these multilingual sections of your website, you don't need to have too much of information. You can have 5 pages, 10 pages of curated information for the patient who is from beyond borders. Integrated payment gateways, the manual system has to now seamlessly come into your website or your mobile application. So the patient can easily pay. Let's take this conference for example, 70% of the delegates seamlessly registered on the internet. we never met them or saw them or had a telephone conversation. So 70%, and I think most of us are ordering from food to everything online. So why not our consultation fees? Why not our consultation fees? Why don't we? He simply pays online. So that's actually good, because you take the money out of the entire thing. There is no monetary interaction when he is at your hospital. He's already paid for it beautifully. So yes, the multimedia storytelling in the form of text, photographs, videos. Health app integrations. Now the urban-rural divide with the spread which is happening with the barriers, especially for chronic diseases where you need continuous monitoring, where you need continuous, for cases like IVF, wearable devices are going to be the future. So you get your patient's pulse, you get your patient's data, so they can be integrated and reports can be given, your modifications on your prescriptions can be given. Now, last mobile app which I would want on my mobile phone is that of a hospital. Nobody wants to go to a hospital, a lawyer and a police station. So it's very difficult to actually, so mobile apps which are retractable. So I am sure that all hospitals will understand that there is a particular time frame which a patient is engaged. It's not a permanent engagement. Yes, there is a continuous engagement, there is a repeat, but then a patient comes, he pays a registration fees, he pays a consultation fees, which would be valid. We have plastic surgeons in Bombay who charge for a year. My consultation fees is 2,500 rupees, but it's for a year. So during this period of engagement, the mobile app, it can be retractable. So the engagement is over, the patient is off, and the mobile app automatically goes off the mobile phone. Or it can become a dormant mobile app. So it doesn't consume space, because how many apps will you have on your mobile phone? Your pharmacy. Now online pharmacy, yes, there are rules and regulations on this, but that's something which can definitely be integrated. For the international patient, now if you take an international patient, he really doesn't know what your facility is. Yes, you had an online conversation, you have sent him material and information on the outcome and the possible treatments, but then what is your physical premises? So that is something which you can use your virtual hospital walkthroughs which can be embedded. Now Lalit sir was reiterating this fact that we are coming to this age of differentiation with so many websites out there. What is going to be the differentiating element? The differentiating element is the content which we are going to have. We have to laymanize it. So what we have started this process is that the entire content that we are going to create over the next year is going to be curated by journalists. So like Namita was telling, we really don't understand what a medical terminology is. So we have to laymanize it. So laymanize it, humanize it. So that's what we're doing. And of course, doctor interviews the way the patient would want it. What are the answers that the patient would look at? And of course, relevant blogs is what we've been doing for the last quite a few years. So yes, some of the thing. Now this global menu I'm sure is there on most websites. But what we're doing is, the mobile is a very private institution as such. So, and then you can't load everything onto that global menu. You have to load what is the most crucial elements. I would say the most crucial. So when he looks at the most crucial elements, we have put contacting you or the query there, and then getting in touch with you, and then there is a detailed search and he can. The next thing is how to get you, what are the various locations that you have. Comes departments, doctors and specialties. And there is also a provision for new patient as well as registered patients. These are all provisional. It need not be done, but could be done as well. And we are moving away from the single face of your website to a very interactive model. So you're in the morning session, you're browsing from India, it says good morning. Or you can even have it in Hindi. If you are browsing for North India, kya hal chal sir, hope you're good. You can have it in Tamil. You can give a specific. So if you're browsing, if it's an international patient, you can probably give it in his native language. So the warmth he feels at receiving that is substantial. So we'll move forward. This is something, what's now happening is this era of window shopping has happened. So OTP verification is very important and it can be done very quickly. Whether it's a new patient or an existing patient. Simple, have a one-step OTP. Name, everything is on your mobile number now. So as soon as the patient comes, if he wants to get in touch with you, name, email address and an OTP, so you know that he is a verified user. It's a very simple thing. Now this is how we are refining it. So we have these icons, the interactive icons like the I buttons that we see, and then in case the doctor is not available to talk, he can connect to the assistant. There is clarity. Namita was telling about the truth. Now what is going to happen in the search and what Google has already implemented is something called YMYL. Most of our customers would know what YMYL is. Your money or your life. Fortunately or unfortunately, healthcare has been classified as a service. Healthcare, legal and financial. Google has classified it as your money or your life service. So, and this is something that Google has done. So Google is no more a platform, but of course they have millions and millions of websites to crawl through and find out whether the compliance is there. Now that's what they're doing now. The system in Google is going through all these health websites, millions of them, and actually checking who has put up this information. Is he a qualified person? What are his credentials? From which university is he from? Is he a subject matter expert? So as an organization, they're far evolved and they're making sure. So it's very important to display those. Now we have displayed how a particular seamless online consultation can happen. There is this thing that we're doing when a communication is happening with your international patient. It's automatically fed into the Google Translate machine or a software, and you get it translate. It may not be perfect, but will give you a summary of what has transpired. It can help you in future communications. So hospital walkthroughs, most important. Step 1, have your payment systems embedded onto your websites. Have your payment systems, they must be able to make a payment for registration, and so basic functions is the first thing. Yes, the mobile versioning and the mobile app is the next thing. There are a lot of things that you can do here, including the case taking and the online consultation. It can also be done in such a way that if he is visiting from the mobile, you can ask him, would you want to download your mobile application or would you want to visit the mobile site? And then he proceeds. Or if he's on the mobile site, he can also be prompted to see the mobile the version. I mean, the mobile application as such I'm sure there are a lot of doctor applications which are available, but these are a few suggestions which we put forward, is including during the course of this is a retractable application. During the course of a retractable application, it can give you reminders on your next appointment, on your medications. So these are certain things that we could do. Now coming to the content is the king factor. They are going to be, let's take the case of orthopedics. There is no talk of osteo or ortho. We're going to talk about bones. Like how Namita was telling, there's no going to be talk of a myocardial infarction. We're going to talk about a heart attack. And so these are a few samples of what we can actually come up with. And yes, from what these kind of videos which are coming up, they can be in the form of daily updates. If not possible, let's do a weekly update. And these are great. These updates are simply great. Now, what could evolve? See, this YMYL thing, we logically within our organization, we were preparing for this because we felt it is very logical that we always encounter this fact that when we put up a medical information, there are 10 other people who either counter challenge it or come up with something better. So how does the internet know which is good or which is right and which is wrong? So the same way, what is going to next is going to be the personalized search in terms of the the audio searches which are happening. Google is going to employ the artificial intelligence, is going to tailor make the search result for you. So with these things coming in, it becomes very important that very attractive content goes up on the website. This is a case for an infertility center which we've just started off with. All of us present statistics. Yes, I also do present statistics that yes, we have 300 clients across the country, but we always present the fact that we have done 2,000 cases of arthroscopy or 10,000 cases of arthroscopy. But then this is a very humanized way of doing it. This is an open letter which a doctor has written on the fact is how was baby Nisha brought into the world. So this is a fertility center, but then we go ahead and present its statistics from baby Nisha to Amit, the 600th baby, and then we tell the stories of couple journeys of hope and parenthood, of hope, trust and fulfillment. So these are samples of how we can actually engage them with video journeys. You would have seen that Laugh at Death video, how emotionally connecting it is. So that is the new phase. How are we going to emotionally connect to our patient? So the emotional connect is what we have to put in here. So we are halfway. The strategy is fixed. We have two strategies. We will use a lot of interactive, intuitive and utilitarian systems, but the content will keep on changing and they will be hope-filled, they will be engaging and they will be human. There is the next level, definitely is what we can do beyond 2019 is like what I said, what probably Google may be doing in the future is to customize it for him. You have a cancer patient who needs to come back to you probably after a 6-month period. During the 6-month period, it's not going to be intrusive because the mobile, like we said, is a very personal application. But once in a while, how is your health? How are you doing? Stay in touch. The retractable mobile applications can also. Now there is this eye hospital. The patient has come for cataract, but there is a lot of information on glaucoma. The website says a lot of information on glaucoma. If it is customized that this particular patient who is logged in, now it's all on the mobile device, IP addresses, the MAC addresses, everything is available. If he logs on to your website, he finds only information regarding cataract and not that of glaucoma. So you have a customized website given to your patient. He doesn't have to browse through a lot of information, and through that we can also do this integrated storytelling. So this is what is 2019 looking forward and beyond. The emotional connect is what we are building into all the websites, all the mobile applications that we do, because we are in the sector, in the segment of offering care. So the emotional connect and the human bondings are the most important. Thank you. I would take any queries, any concerns, anything for that matter in regards to this.
From the time we engage the patient for an appointment, the patient comes into the hospital, and as he comes into the hospital, now I understand you can do geofencing and then find out if there are about 200 patients who are walking in. As the patient walks in, the doctor will know, the receptionist will know they have entered and how long the patient is waiting, and what is his journey inside the hospital, how to find out the way, and then maybe get some tests done. How much time he waited in the maybe investigation areas, and then what was the time he went out of the hospital, and then
needs APIs with the hospital management thing. We also need a hospital infrastructure which is that enabled. So it can be done at both levels. When you are thinking of a hospital management infrastructure, you can also plan that this needs a patient interface.
Yeah.
It needs a patient interface which is that engaging. So with the kind of things that you're doing, it's easily interfaceable.
Because I have seen it in US and some European countries, this happens very nicely. And I think it is very, very useful.
It's something that we are doing for a hospital in Kerala.
Correct.
We are running their ORM programs, the online reputation management programs. So there what is happening, this feedback taking is encouraged the maximum.
Yeah.
Because if we have to, so the feedback taking can be now, yes, there is no process behind it. So we are putting in a manual process first and then trying to automate it. But then the most suggested method is automation. The most suggested method is automation, but then we also have to get ready for this. The culture has to be imbibed into first feedback, then reputation, and then moving forward. Yes, so I think this is
that's going to be very interesting,
yes,
I guess, and maybe in the next 4 or 5 years, you will see large hospitals